Essex Police Emergency.
Hello. I need police and a forensics team to my address, please.
What do you mean? What's happened?
My friend and I got into an altercation, and I'm the only one who came out alive.
Are you telling me you've killed somebody?
Yes, I am.
Right, and who am I speaking to?
My name is Lewis Daines. I'm 18 years old.
Right, okay. And what's actually happened?
My friend came to stay with me yesterday, feeling very down, feeling suicidal. And I woke up this morning, he was in a mess. I tried to calm him down. I hugged him, then said that I was there for him. He grabbed, he shrugged me off. His throat was properly cut.
And he's still on the floor?
Yes. He fell onto the bed face first. I was trying to...
So you hugged him, trying to stop him, whatever. He shrugged and pushed you off of him, and his throat was properly cut. Now, I don't know if I didn't hear this clearly, but it sounded like he was like this, and you hugged him, and you cut him, boom, pushed you back, or was it pushed you back?
I was trying to compress the wound at that time. And
Lewis, are you still in the room where Breck is?
No.
Where are you?
Okay, don't interrupt me, just let me explain this. I don't remember what happened after that. All I know is I dropped the knife in my hallway, I stripped down and just sat in the shower.
Right, you've left the weapon in the hallway?
Yes. Remember what happened after that. All I know is I dropped the knife in my hallway, I stripped down and just sat in the shower.
Right, you've left the weapon in the hallway?
Yes.
As he lay dying, Lewis sent photos to Breck's siblings. Although he claimed self-defense when police arrived, they found the 14-year-old had been tied up with duct tape. Lewis's phones, hard drives, and pen drives, all encrypted, had been immersed in water. He refused to give police access to passwords to any of the devices. The victim's bloody clothes were found in a garbage bag inside the Essex apartment. Breck Bednar was a churchgoer and member of the Air Training Corps. He had started communicating with Lewis through a gaming website in 2013. A couple of his friends were already members of it too, but some of the gamers soon became concerned Breck was being controlled and turned against his family. Lewis Daines had told the younger teens that he was a 17-year-old computer engineer. The impressionable schoolboys believed him when he said he ran a very successful company in New York. In reality, Lewis was unemployed and lived alone in Grays, Essex. Breck, his triplet siblings, and his parents lived in Surrey.
His mother, Lauren Lefebvre, said she, too, noticed her son's behavior starting to change.
Lauren told them Lewis had reportedly given £2 million to the Syrian rebels, and he was teaching the teen boys about hacking. So at the very least, it was a terrorist concern that she felt was not taken seriously. Despite the mother's best efforts, Breck continued the communication. When Lewis allegedly told him he was terminally ill and needed to pass his company over to someone he trusted, the 14-year-old took a cab to the killer's apartment. Breck had lied to his father about where he was going, saying he would be at a friend's house nearby. He was killed the next day. In 2015, Lewis was given a 25-year sentence. The prosecution said that although the killer was only 18 when he committed the murder, he was a controlling and manipulative individual who planned out the crime. As for Lewis Daines, he won't be eligible for release until 2039, when he'll be in his early 40s.
Man, that is crazy. Now, these people who, you know what I'm saying, look at these kids and try to fuck with them, all that stuff, what make them even want to use that much brain activity, that much brain power to want to come up with some sick scum shit like this? You feel me? Like, why can't they use that type of energy somewhere positive? If you really was to think about all these messed up folks in the world trying to scheme up some crazy plot like how this person and shit was doing about a company, they could go ahead and just fucking be part of the people who's trying to make a difference in this world, but yet they want to be part of the people who keep causing problems in this world. And y'all know these scammers, they got some scammers who is like smart as fuck, but they want to be doing dumb stuff. And this is just a murderer who wants to be a murderer, so he evidently is where he needs to be at.
Story time about how choosing to stay home and knock out my friends one night landed me in a mandatory court appearance with 4 charges against me. So it's senior year of high school. My friends are obsessing over partaking in an activity that is only legal for those that are 21 years and older. and they have no one's house to do this at, so they come up with the next best alternative, which is to do this on a public field in our town owned by our high school. Me, knowing that this is the dumbest idea ever, I decide to stay home and I go to sleep that night. I am then woken up to a phone call from my friends frantically begging me to come pick them up because police officers had driven onto the field and chased them in their vehicles, and all of my friends had to run away, jump fences, and do whatever they needed to do to escape the cops, but now have no rides home and are under the influence, and also there are no Ubers available. I have to sneak out of my house, and I also have to take my mom's car because mine isn't big enough to fit friends, and I drive to go pick up my friends, and not 5 or 6 people get in, but 9 people get in my car. I drop 2 of them off when another one says, Jill, oh my God, you need to go back to the field. I just realized that the beer pong table had my last name on it in Sharpie, and when the police officers see it, they are going to know it was mine and I'm going to get in trouble. 7 people in the car drive to the front of that field when 2 police officers fly out of the driveway, double park me in, turn on their sirens, and have me roll down my windows. They're asking me if I have any of these substances in the cars, which I don't even have the answer to because they just piled in. I turn to my friends and I'm like, if you do, get out with it now. My one friend that we went back for the table for, he takes everyone's backpacks out with him and takes the blame for all of it. I look in my rear view and the police officer's dumping each individual can. And then the other police officer comes back to the driver's side window and hands me 4 tickets. 1 for trespassing, which I have no idea how I got because I was only ever on a public road. I never went on the field myself. The second one is for open container in the car, which I'm not entirely sure how I got either because to my knowledge at least, I don't think any of the cans were open. And then the last 2 were because even though I was 18, I never got my 17-year-old license renewed, and it was still probationary, so I had too many people in the car and I had past curfew. After all this is said and done, I'm the only one with tickets. I drive them all home while trying to figure out how I'm going to tell my mom this in the morning. I tell my mom, take pictures of all my tickets, send them to my uncle who is a cop, and he informs me that although it was really unfortunate how it all played out, I could just plead guilty and pay all of the fines, which were a lot of money, and then I should be good to go. It takes until the very last day when that notification goes off for me to get the last person's payment. I then go to the courthouse after high school with a fat stack of cash, hand it to the woman at the front desk, and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. Like, you can't just pay this and plead guilty. This is a mandatory court appearance that you need to speak at 5 p.m. tonight. It is 4 p.m. I am in sweatpants and I have no parents in town, no attorney or anything. Rush home, change, come back to the courthouse to wait in line to speak to the court-appointed attorney because I'm showing up unrepresented. I get into the courthouse. I'm sitting in the room. The judge comes in. He calls the first man to the stand. It wasn't me. He then explains that this guy is being charged with having 100 grams of a white illegal substance in his car while in a school zone, and then asks the guy to continue to share how this occurred. And he goes, well, I didn't know it was a school zone. Right there and then, I am holding back tears. I'm shaking. I'm trying not to puke, losing my mind. Like, what did I get myself into? And then I am called up next. I get to the stand, give him my whole spiel, the whole story I just shared, and I'm like, yeah, I was just trying to do what I knew I could do, which was get my friends home safely when they had no better alternative. And he was like, listen, I need to address the courtroom for a second. I was like, oh my God, what does this mean? Okay. He was like, I want you to all know if you're going to be in here for any reason right now, I want you to be in here for her reason. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. But then he says, Jillian, you need to make me 2 promises. And I'm like, okay, what is it? He's like, first, you're going to the DMV first thing tomorrow, and you are getting switched to that 18-year-old license. I was like, you right, got it. First thing tomorrow, no problem. And he was like, second question is, did your friends give you the money? I'm like, yeah, every single dime. I had it right here. I came to pay and then didn't even know I had to speak. And he was like, okay, so here's the deal. Second promise you're making for me is that you're keeping all of that money. You are never telling a friend that you didn't have to pay any of that money. I'm giving you a receipt for the charges, and I'm going to waive the court fee. Come up here, shake my hand, and tell your parents that they did an incredible job raising you. Go up there, shake his hand, and now my friends helped me buy a MacBook that they didn't know about till now.